Starseed, if you have arrived here at this very instant, listening to these words, know that it was not by chance. Pause for a moment whatever you are doing. Take a deep breath, fill your chest with air, hold it for 3 seconds, and release it slowly. Do this once more. Feel how your body is already starting to respond, as if something within you recognizes that it is about to receive important information, something that has been awaited for a long time, perhaps for entire lifetimes. The Arcturians are transmitting at this very moment a very specific frequency, tuned to souls like yours, souls that came from very far away, souls that carry within their bodies ancient memories and cosmic purposes that the rational mind cannot yet name. And one of the most beautiful and powerful ways this transmission reaches you is through your own body, through your own hair, through the symptoms you have been feeling, and that no one around you seems to know how to explain. You have noticed changes, haven't you? Something is different. Something in your hair, in your skin, in your perception of reality, in the way colors seem more vivid, or how certain sounds now bother you deeply, or how you wake up in the middle of the night, 3:11, 3:33, 4:44, for no apparent reason. You look in the mirror and almost do not recognize yourself. Not because you have aged, not because you are tired, but because there is something new in your eyes, a depth that was not there before. And no, this is not a coincidence. This is not a phase. This is not stress. This is cosmic confirmation. You are being recalibrated to a new frequency, and your body, especially your hair, is responding in real time to this activation that began silently months or even years ago. What seemed random, what others call stress, premature aging, or a difficult phase, is actually your biology reorganizing itself, cell by cell, to sustain the light you came to bring to this planet at this specific time. Now pay close attention to what I am going to share, because what you are about to discover about your hair may forever change the way you see yourself, the way you take care of yourself, and the way you understand the subtle signs that the universe sends. Hair was never just aesthetics, it was never just vanity, it was never just something that grows and needs to be cut. In all the sacred ancestral traditions of humanity, from the indigenous peoples of the Americas who kept their hair long as an expression of honor to their ancestors, to the mystics of the East who coiled their strands in sacred buns to contain energy, from the biblical Nazarites who never cut their hair as a sign of consecration, to the Celtic women who braided their strands before battle to channel the strength of their forefathers, hair has always been treated as a living extension of the soul, and there is a profound biological, energetic, and spiritual reason for this, a reason that materialistic science is only just beginning to lightly touch upon, but which sacred traditions have known for millennia. Hair functions as a highly sophisticated energetic antenna, a network of sensitive filaments connected directly to your central nervous system and, most importantly, to your crown chakra, that luminous vortex located at the top of your head that functions as a portal through which your consciousness connects with the higher frequencies of the cosmos, with the spiritual planes, with your star family of origin. Each strand of your hair is like a living fiber optic filament. Each strand captures, translates, stores, and transmits vibration. And each strand is a subtle receiver of information that goes far beyond what the 5 common senses can perceive. That is why wise peoples, in cultures that never met physically, independently reached the same conclusion. Letting hair grow freely strengthens intuition, expands dreams, and intensifies the connection with the invisible. They knew, intuitively and through direct experience, that cutting one's hair unconsciously, without purpose, without ritual, was also to sever the ability to connect with the invisible, with the ancestors, with the star of origin, with that which we are before having been born into this body. And that is exactly why changes in your hair now, at this moment in your journey, carry such meaning. Have you felt your scalp tingling, vibrating, warming up out of nowhere, as if a subtle current were passing there at the top of your head? Have you noticed your hair growing faster than before or shedding in a strange way, for no apparent reason, without tests pointing to anything wrong? Have you noted that the texture has changed completely? That the color seems different under certain lights? That white strands appeared too soon and in curious patterns? Or that your hair simply no longer responds to the products you have always used, as if it had developed a personality of its own? Increased sensitivity in the head, localized pains that come and go without a pattern, vivid and symbolic dreams after a night spent touching your hair, a sensation of pressure on the crown as if something invisible were resting there, sudden chills when you touch your own head. All of these are signs, unequivocal signs that your body is adjusting to receive, process, and sustain a much greater quantity of light, information, and cosmic frequency than it was accustomed to. It is like updating an entire operating system while it is still running, without turning off the machine. There is discomfort, there is noise, there is temporary slowness, there is deep reconfiguration. But there is also genuine transformation happening in your cells, in your DNA, in your energetic structure. And there is no turning back. You can no longer return to who you were. And even if there were the possibility, deep in your soul you know you do not want to. You feel, even in the midst of the discomfort, that something beautiful is being born from within you, something that has always been there, waiting for the right moment to emerge to the surface of your daily life. I know that at this point doubt may arise, that internal voice may appear, or an external one, coming from a close person, a family member, a well-intentioned friend, who says it is just stress, just hormones, just a lack of vitamins, just the wind, just your imagination. That voice is not your true voice. That voice is the echo of a deep conditioning you received since childhood, a conditioning that taught you to doubt everything that cannot be measured, weighed, photographed, and framed within the narrow limits of the purely materialistic paradigm. This paradigm has its place, has its historical value, and taking care of the physical body, getting tests, seeking medical follow-up when necessary, remains important and responsible. We are not denying that. But for a starseed, this paradigm alone was never enough to explain the totality of the experience. You know this. You have always known. Since childhood, you felt there was something more, something others did not see, something that pulsed in silence within your chest when you looked at the stars in the night sky and felt a longing that had no address. The doubt that appears now is just the old programming trying to keep you small, controllable inside the box. Embrace the doubt, observe it with affection, but do not obey it. Your spiritual perception is a legitimate, ancient, and valid form of knowledge, and it is waking up because the exact time for this to happen has arrived. To help you navigate consciously through this entire awakening process, the Arcturians transmit an activation path divided into 7 phases. It is not a rigid method. It is not a cold manual that you must follow to the letter. It is an internal map, a natural sequence through which every starseed passes when they begin to remember who they truly are, where they came from, and why they are here on this planet at this time. Some individuals traverse these 7 phases in a few months, surprising themselves with the speed of their transformation. Others take years, crossing long valleys between one phase and another. Some dance between them like waves that ebb and flow, revisiting previous phases at deeper levels. The important thing is not the speed. The important thing is to recognize each phase when it appears, to name it with clarity, and to walk with presence and respect through each one. I will now present each of these 7 phases, so that by the end of this transmission, you will know exactly which one you are in today, and what the natural next step of your journey is. The first phase is the recognition of the signs. It is the sacred moment when you stop treating symptoms as problems to be eliminated as quickly as possible, as inconveniences to be suppressed, and begin to listen to them as messages coming from a higher intelligence that dwells within you. Instead of asking yourself how to get rid of this, you begin to ask yourself what this is trying to tell me. This small shift in perspective is quietly revolutionary, because it completely inverts your relationship with your own body. The hair that falls out for no reason, the skin that tingles without explanation, the sudden vertigo in the middle of the day, the insomnia that arrives at 3 in the morning, everything begins to be language. Everything begins to be communication. And when you learn to read this language with patience and curiosity, the body ceases to be a battlefield and becomes a sacred ally, a reliable companion on your journey of awakening. You begin to make peace with your own skin, with your own strands, with your own sensations. The second phase is the sacralization of the body. Here you take a deeper step and begin to treat the body not as a biological machine that needs to be optimized, nor as a prison for the soul, nor as an obstacle to be overcome by pure spirituality, but as a living temple, a sacred sanctuary, a cathedral of flesh and light. Each cell of yours is a sanctuary. Each strand of your hair is a filament of materialized light. Each gesture of care turns into a deep spiritual act. Bathing with total presence, feeling the water as a blessing. Combing your hair with affection, thanking each strand, feeding yourself with conscious gratitude, blessing the food before eating. Touching your own skin with reverence as if it were the skin of someone beloved. When the body is treated as a temple, it responds by raising its natural vibration. It heals faster. It opens more easily to receive subtle information. It actively cooperates with the awakening instead of resisting it. This phase demands patience with yourself because it requires undoing decades of automatic habits and indifference. The third phase is the deep cleansing of inherited energies. You were not born empty into this world. You brought with you in your genetic lineage, in your ancestral lineage, in your emotional and even karmic lineage, a series of patterns, pains, fears, ancient vows and invisible loyalties that are not truly yours, that were not born with you, but that you adopted unconsciously. Beliefs of scarcity coming from grandparents who starved in forgotten wars, unresolved traumas of past generations that still echo in your body, ancient vows made in other lives in other temples, invisible loyalties to family members that prevent you from prospering so as not to leave them behind. All of this may be profoundly interfering with your original frequency, with that pure vibration you brought from your home star. This phase is dedicated to recognizing these patterns with humility, thanking them for what they taught your soul, and releasing them consciously through rituals, prayers, therapies, writing, crying, dancing, or simply firm intention. It is deep work, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes lonely, but absolutely liberating. When you clear what you have inherited, you open immense space for that what is genuinely yours may finally emerge with full force. The fourth phase is the energetic realignment with your new frequency. With signs recognized, the body sacralized, and dense inheritances released, you begin to perceive, almost without conscious effort, that your energy naturally reorganizes itself in all areas of life. Noisy and dense environments that you once endured in the name of belonging start to deeply bother you. People who drained you for years begin to drift away on their own, or you begin to feel genuine courage to set clear boundaries, to say no without guilt, to step away from relationships that supported only your old version. Habits that kept you anesthetized, such as excessively heavy food, excessive drink, empty digital content, gossipy conversations, completely lose their flavor. You are not rejecting anything out of spiritual pride or superiority. You are simply vibrating on another frequency band. It is like a radio that tunes into a new, crystal-clear station, and the old frequencies loaded with static cease to make any sense. Allow this realignment without guilt, without excessively justifying yourself to others. It is necessary, it is natural, it is part of the process. The fifth phase is the awakening of memories dormant in the DNA. This is a powerful, intense, and deeply beautiful phase, although it can also be disconcerting at first. Here you begin to access memories that clearly do not fit in this current life. Vivid dreams of landscapes you have never physically visited and yet recognize in every detail. Unexpected skills that begin to emerge without rational explanation, such as a sudden interest in healing, in ancient languages, in sacred geometry, in astrology, in music, in unusual scales. Inexplicable attractions to specific symbols, to certain sounds, to certain places on the planet, to ancient cultures that have always fascinated you without you knowing why. Insights that arrive ready, complete, as if they had been kept somewhere inside you for a long time, waiting for the exact moment to emerge into awakened consciousness. The Arcturians describe this phenomenon as the progressive reactivation of dormant filaments in your genetic code, filaments that carry encoded the crystalline memory of your stellar origin, of your cosmic family, of your mission on this planet. Do not try to force these memories or demand that they come faster. Just observe with curiosity, write them down in a special notebook, honor each glimpse. The memories will come in the perfect order in which you are ready to receive them, without rushing, without delay. The sixth phase is the stabilization of expanded consciousness in daily life. After the intense waves of activation, after the spiritual vertigo that lifted you off the ground, after the nights in which you felt you were literally disintegrating and reintegrating at the same time, comes a moment of calm of a completely different quality. It is not the anesthetized calm of before, that calm made of distraction and escape. It is a lucid, ample, present, and deeply rooted calm. You are able to inhabit the expansion without losing the grounding in the body. You can feel the cosmos vibrating within you, without disconnecting from the firm earth beneath your feet. You can access elevated states of consciousness while you cook dinner, work in the office, talk to the clerk at the bakery, play with your children, wash dishes, drive in traffic. Spirituality ceases to be something you do in special moments and becomes who you are all the time. This stabilization is the spiritual maturity of the starseed. It is when the light stops being an impressive occasional experience and becomes your silent and constant identity. The seventh and final phase is the conscious emission of your mission frequency. Here a profound and definitive inversion occurs. You stop seeking and start to radiate. You stop asking what your mission is and realize that your mission is already happening simply because you exist. Your presence begins to do the work for you. People are transformed by your side without you needing to say absolutely anything, merely by being in your energy field. Environments subtly reorganize themselves when you enter, as if the vibration of the space adjusts to yours. Synchronicities cease to be special events and become the daily language of your life. You finally recognize yourself as what you have always been from the beginning, an embodied energy transmitter, a living bridge between frequencies, a seed deliberately planted on this planet at this specific time to fulfill a unique role that only you can fulfill, in the exact way that only you can fulfill it. There is no more internal haste. There is no more desperate anxiety for visible results. There is only the natural flow of someone who knows with every cell of their body that they are exactly where they need to be, doing exactly what they came to do at the correct cosmic time. And it is here, Starseed, that this transmission concludes, although your journey continues to unfold in ever deeper layers. Trust your hair, trust your body, trust the subtle signs that are reaching you now, in this moment, as you listen to or read these words. You are not going crazy, you are not alone, you are not behind anyone. You are exactly at the right cosmic time for your own unique and irreplicable activation. Honor the process, respect your natural rhythm. Take care of the temple that is your body. Sleep when you need to sleep, cry when you need to cry, laugh when laughter comes, dance when the music calls. And always remember, especially in moments of doubt, the universe would never ask you to carry this frequency if you did not have within yourself the full capacity to sustain it. You were chosen because you are already capable, even when you doubt. You were sent to this planet because you already brought with you, encoded in every strand of hair, in every drop of blood, in every breath, everything you need to fulfill your mission. And now, more than at any other moment in history, the world needs you whole, awake, present, and luminous. May this message resonate deeply in every strand of your hair, in every cell of your body, in every layer of your eternal soul. Until the next transmission, dear Starseed. The infinite light that exists within me silently reveres the infinite light that exists within you, now and always.